Good afternoon, book lovers of the internet. Welcome back to my channel. I am Book Nerd 2, and in this video, I am going to be reviewing yet another book by one of my favorite authors called Never Lie by Freida McFadden. Now, before I start chatting about this one, I just want to point towards the fact of how disgustingly expensive books are in my country when compared to books in different countries. So this one I bought for 16.99, and abroad I managed to buy all these books, three of them as a matter of fact, for £7.50 from the works, which means that one book here in Malta costs more than twice what three books in another country cost, which is absolutely horrific. Anyway, this one, Never Lie, consists of about 300 pages, and I rated it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And there will be various spoilers ahead, so if you haven't yet read this one, you have been warned. Feel free to click away and watch any of my other reviews. Um, so honestly, I found this to have a rather cool setting with several plot twists and a very valid reason never to trust psychiatrists again. And I did not do so to begin with. I don't think that psychiatrists are necessarily good people. Feel free to argue with me in the comment section. I don't mind at all. I can express my thoughts rather clearly, Charlie Kirk style. This was recommended to me by the waitress working at Il Cortile called Mariah, which is a fantastic restaurant. I would recommend it as well. So if you're watching, thank you for the recommendation. I had a great time immersing myself in this one. However, it took too long to get to the point, and the suspense pissed me off rather than made reading this novel a better experience, basically. So I suppose I knew that EJ, a character called Edward, was the one killed to begin with, and the person they found hidden in the house, the person's body basically, rather than the person hiding in the house, that is another person entirely. It is a massive house, that has to be admitted, it has to be said, and there is a lot going on there. But it was a lovely twist to see that our protagonist, our main character, um, her name is Trisha, by the way, or Patricia even. Um, Everything revolved around her. She knew precisely all that was going on to begin with. That was rather fascinating. There was no other way for Adrienne to protect her legacy. Um, she just had to get rid of EJ one way or another, and she just simply asked Trisha to help her with the deed. Basically, EJ is a guy who blackmailed her. He managed to take a video of Adrienne slashing a car's um, tires. He blackmailed her. He was one of her patients. He didn't want to pay for therapy. She is the psychiatrist in the story, by the way. To think that she would kill a client of hers for blackmailing her and asking her for sexual favors is an exaggeration, would be a stupid thing to do, because if anything, it's extremely reasonable, even though EJ technically didn't do any harm to anyone. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything to harm anyone, except for just a bit of a twist here, causing the deaths of his parents. Um, as it turns out, he toyed with the car and then he blamed it all on his mother's horrible driving skills, which is a disgusting, repulsive thing to do, just to get the inheritance, by the way. With McFadden's books, it's always hard to tell which characters to hate the most, since they are all so morally twisted. It's just a matter of who has done the least harm, rather than who is a good person and who isn't. I mean, everybody is such a twisted individual. At some point, I will read one of her books and probably make a tier list of who is the most horrible. I could probably keep tabs on all the characters, and that would make for an interesting tier list video. I think you might enjoy that one. For this one, I didn't really pay that close attention. I was more focused on the narrative and where the lies were, rather than the characters per se. Um, with this one, just a bit of context here, maybe you'd be interested in reading this someday as well. We follow the story of Trisha and Ethan, who are looking to find a home to live in. They are married, they have a kid on the way, and they come across a very reasonably priced home, or very reasonably priced place to live in, which Trisha finds to be creepy towards the beginning. The way it's hinted at that there's another person living in the house over the course of several chapters is interesting, but as it turned out, Trisha should have known what to expect from the very beginning. Um, Honestly, that is one thing which I love about Freida McFadden's books as well. There are several short chapters. In fact, this one consists of about 54 chapters as far as I know, as well as an epilogue. So, yeah, I mean, very short chapters overall. That just makes it um, more of a quick read, a very, very easy to digest sort of story. Um, and it's insane to me to think that what McFadden is doing is trying to romanticize a relationship between two killers who managed to afford a six-bedroomed house after getting rid of some horrible people. Um, it's not something to romanticize, even though it is very difficult to buy your property, your own property nowadays. Killing and romanticizing a couple who are murderers, basically, who have their own children as well. It's not something which I would necessarily advocate for. But yeah, um, yeah, some very horrible people were definitely taken care of in this story. Trisha was arguably right to murder each time. I think Trisha does have the highest body count of all the characters. Ethan perhaps too had his reasons. So did Adrienne. However, Luke, Adrienne's husband, certainly deserved better. And honestly, if this story didn't really teach me anything apart from keep me on edge for more than half of it, I suppose that transparency is a fleeting trait in the time we're living in, and never lying is certainly an important skill to pick up. But as it turns out, even psychiatrists lie, even the people who are meant to set an example hold the truth from others. They don't tell the entire truth, they twist the truth to their advantage. So, yeah, it's definitely a necessary skill to have nowadays, knowing how to be a genuine person. Trisha is definitely what the story revolves around, although Adrienne would have had her fair share of problems regardless if Trisha never showed up. What's great is how McFadden tied everything together and used previously introduced characters to benefit the needs of others. For instance, the story is told from both the perspectives of Adrienne and Trisha, but then it zones in to the perspective of Trisha or Patricia. It is told in two different times as well, since there are multiple things going on at the same time to give us the complete context. And then McFadden very skillfully, very masterfully ties everything together. So one thing I need to say, which might feel rather unjust to say, is that I do love McFadden's writing style, but it does come across as repetitive and perhaps even AI generated. The fact that um, she seems to write so many books in such a short time is not very realistic, especially since there aren't really any um, I wouldn't call them not thought-provoking, but they're not particularly mind-blowing concepts in her books. They are rather generic overall. There's always basically a damsel in distress, a man who does her bidding but then draws the line, someone getting buried unceremoniously, and several reasons to ponder over whether certain decisions were right or not. One thing which I certainly loved and which I hope to have in my home one day is several hidden rooms and compartments, and please do not call me crazy in the comment section. I plan on using them for books mostly and to get some writing done of my own, maybe for my YouTube endeavors as well. So yeah, I do not have any ill intentions when it comes to having secret compartments hidden within my home. But yeah, I think that is all I had to say about Never Lie by Freida McFadden. This is the fourth book I've read by her. After The Teacher, The Crash, and The Perfect Son, I managed to read yet another book by this author. Definitely an author um, I've read a lot of books by, and I have several others to finish. I think I have four more to read, consisting of The Locked Door, The Surrogate Mother, The Housemaid, and The Housemaid's Secret. I will give it some time before I pick another of her books up because I need a bit of a break. But I definitely will return to her writing. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, take a look at the rest of my content because why not? It's absolutely amazing. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one, hopefully very, very soon. Bye, guys.